These operations don't have to necessarily be in a high-rise. Anywhere that you have an elevator, it's important to understand how they work. When you get to the main lobby of the elevators, whether you have one, two, three, or multiple ones, you'll have a firefighter switch that you'll put a little round key in, and it should be in the off position when you arrive, and we want to be able to stick the key in and put it in the on position. So here it is in the off position. It's straight up and down, and we want to turn it to the right into the on position. And here it is in the on position, and you can kind of see on the right side of the key right here that flange is a little wider, and that's the indicator of where that position is on that lock. At this point, when you turn that firefighter switch to the on position, it's going to recall all of those elevators on that bank that this particular switch is connected to. If you've got several banks of elevators, maybe this only recalls 2 out of 6, and you've got 2 of these panels, or maybe it recalls 3 out of 9. You know, however it's set up, it's incumbent upon you to know your building and your area. So just understand that an alarm is going to sound in that car, and it's going to give the occupants time to get in the car or get out of the car. The doors are going to shut, and it's going to come to the lobby. It's not going to stop at any floors, no matter who's pressing up or down button on any floor. So in this particular building, there's 18 stories. If it was on the 18th floor and you recalled it and somebody pushed the button on the 6th floor, it's not going to stop at that floor. It's going to come all the way to the lobby, and you now have control of that elevator. Once the elevators come back to the lobby, the doors will open on whichever elevators you're controlling. In this particular building, there's 2 elevators side by side, and they both come down and they both open, and both cars have the same panels inside. And you can see I put the key in on this firefighter switch inside the elevator car. This is inside the elevator car, and it's in the off position. Again, you can see the flange on the key is a little bit wider and deeper, and it indicates it's in the off position. We want to turn it into the on position. When we get it in the on position, it's this firefighter helmet insignia next to it. The firefighter button is going to light up. It's going to indicate that we now have control of the car. So we have to leave it in the on position at the lobby, okay, outside the doors, and take the key out. Then we have to turn it in the on position inside the car to keep full control of the 2 cars. And this little light is that indicator. Now, also, if that light flashes or is flashing in these particular cars and in most of these cars, if that fire helmet or firefighter light is flashing, it's usually an indicator that there's smoke in the shaft, in the elevator shaft. And it's important to follow your SOGs and guidelines on how you operate. Typically, you won't operate the elevator at all at that point due to smoke being in the elevator shaft. But it's something to look at each elevator individually and find out how they operate. But that's typically what that means if that light's flashing. A long, steady light, like we see in this particular picture, just simply means that we have control of the car. It's in firefighter mode. Now, once we get it in firefighter mode, we can't just hit buttons and release them. So in this particular button, if we want the doors to open, we have to hold the button down until the doors are completely open. If we let off of that button while we're opening the doors, they're going to close again. Vice versa. If we want to close the doors, we have to continually press down that button and close those doors. So we have to make sure that the operation's complete and that we don't get in a hurry. And we understand that if we just press the button and it doesn't work, that it's not a malfunction. We have to know how these elevators operate. We have to completely depress them until the operation is completed and the door open. Once the doors have closed, you can hit the 18th button or the 14th or 9th or whatever button it is, and it'll take you to that floor. Whatever your high-rise guidelines are, operate within those. This is just simply, we use this operation for EMS calls. We get EMS calls. The truck will control the elevator while the EMS crew's with the patient. That way, if they need help, if we don't have to wait around for the elevator to come back up 18 floors to get the elevator and get the patient on, it's a more expedient process. Finally, this shows the elevator in the on position. When we're done operating the car, we're going to take it back down to the first floor. We're going to turn it in the off position, make sure that this light goes off. Sometimes we'll have to turn it twice to get the light to deactivate, to take it out of firefighter mode. And then you have to go back to the front panel in the lobby and turn that key back to off as well. and it's back in normal operating mode. So just important to know where your keys are located, how they work. Make sure that it's an elevator call key. Down here to the left is a service button, a service key, which does different things for the elevator, which you can use. You need to work with it though. Sometimes they do different functions. It's just a lot easier if we get used to using the call button at all times. But they are two separate keys in most instances, and it's important to know the differences. So that's how you operate most elevators. Make sure you look at your manufacturer's guidelines. They're not all the same. Some are going to operate differently. In our jurisdiction, all of our operations are pretty much identical to what I just showed you on here. So get out, know your buildings, know your guidelines. Be safe, keep training hard. See you next time. Bye.